Topic 10, Statistical Diagrams, 10.1, Stem and Leaf. A stem and leaf diagram is used to summarise a set of data. It also shows how the data is spread out. Whenever we're using stem and leaf diagrams, it is essential that we include a key. The data must also be sorted out, or must be ordered from the stem out. The data below shows the edges of people working in an office. Let's put the data into stem and leaf diagram. So what we need to do then is see what a stem and leaf diagram might say looks like. And what we have is we've got a stem and a leaf. So what we would start off by doing is looking and see what the smallest number is. So I think the smallest number is 19. So we'll put the tens in our stem and then the units in the leaf. So we've got 110 and it goes all the way up. I see a 6, 62 looks as if it's the biggest one. And now what we do is we go through our data in turn and we put it into our stem and leaf diagram. So 19 is made up of 110 and 9 units. So we're going to put it as a 9 in here and I'm going to score it off. The next number is 23, so it's 2 tens and 3 units. So I've marked that off. 33 is 3 tens and 3 units. 21 is 2 10 and 1 unit. So what I do is I put the 1 beside the 3 and it's made up of 21. 18, so I'm going to put the 8 beside the 9. 48, 8 beside the 4. 37, 23, 62, 26, 18, so 110 and 8 units. 27, 2 tens and 7 units. 58 is 5 tens and 8 units. 34, 3 tens with 4 units. 40 is 4 tens and 0 units. 30, 3 tens and 0 units. 28 is 2 tens and 8 units. And then 26, 53, 55, 25, 30, so we're going to put another 0 down. 48, so we'll put that in the 40 column. And then 18 we've got there. Now we said we need a key, so our key is something like 1/9 equals 19, where the slash represents the gap between our stem and our leaf. Now we haven't actually finished our stem and leaf diagram, so we've ordered the data, we've put the data into this, but it said the data had to be ordered. So what we need to do is we need to rewrite it, but so that these numbers are ordered from the stem out. So instead of having 9, 8, 8, 8, we're going to have 8, 8, 8, 9. Jumping down to the 4, it's slightly easier to do. It's going to be 0, 8, 8, and so on. And what we end up with is a stem and leaf diagram that looks like this one. So all the values have been ordered from the stem out, so they're increasing. We've got our key, so it's 1/8 means 18, so that's been taken from here. And we can see that the data is spread out. It looks like the 20s are the most common number. We can also see that the individual common number, so the modal value, is 18. And we can see that the biggest number was 62 and the smallest was 18. So having the data in this makes it a lot clearer and a lot easier for us to use. So with this data then as well, what we've kind of got is like a bar chart, but done on its side. So you could imagine if we were looking at this, we could put bars around it, and it's useful for us to see. The advantage of this is that all the original data is still there, which is really good for us because then we could work out mean, median, mode and all that kind of stuff from it. Whereas if we just put it in a bar chart, we would lose that information. So that's one of the advantages with the stem and leaf diagram. So example, the hand spans in centimetres of a class of 30 pupils are measured. The results are below. Draw a stem and leaf diagram to show the information. Remember to include a key. And then from there we're asked to work out a few things. So Let's draw the stem and leaf diagram first. Now in the first example of what we had in our stem, we had drawn it as the tens and the units, but here we're going to do it as a 2-digit number and then the decimals. So the decimal value is going to be in the leaf part. Now, having a quick scan through the data, it looks like 11 is going to be the smallest and 17 is the biggest, so we need to go all the way up to 17. Now, whenever you're doing these, it's always best to do it first of all in a pencil, especially whenever the data isn't ordered. So 13.4 is the first one, so I'm going to put a 4 in the 13 row. Then we have 14.7, so I'm going to put the 7 beside the 14. 15.1, so the 1 after the 15. 0.0, so I'm going to put the 0 beside the 1. 13.3, I'm going to put the 3 beside the 4. 13.8, then an 8. 14.7, that's in the 14 row. 14.6, 14.1, 15.8, 17.9, 12.4, 12.8, 13.3, 13.8, 15.4, 13.6, 13.5, 14.0, 15.3, 13.1, 14.1, 14.2, 15.3, 17.1, 11.7, 13.5, 11.8, 13.3, and 15.8. We need to order the data, so we need to make it from smallest at close to the stem and then the biggest number away from the stem. So there we have it, the data has been ordered from smallest to biggest. What we need to now do is add a key, and the key is really important because it tells us what the information represents. So I'm going to put 11/7 means 11.7 centimeters. If we didn't have the key, we might think that this 11/7 could mean 117, or it could mean 0.117. So there's lots of different things that it could represent. So that's why we need to include the key. One other thing we can do before we move on is check that we've got the right number of data, that we haven't forgotten one. So what we can see is that we had 30 data values originally, and counting through our stem and leaf diagram, we also have 30 here, so I haven't forgotten a number. So some of the questions that we were asked around this, the first one was the modal group, and the modal group is the group with the most number of numbers in it, and that's obviously we can see is 13 centimeters, so all the ones starting with 13. Part 2, we're asked for the modal value, and that's the one that occurs most often, and looking through, it's going to be 13.3 centimeters because it occurs 3 times. The median, now to work out the median, it's the middle number. So we've got 30 numbers, so to work out the middle we do 30 plus 1 divided by 2, which is the 15.5th term. So we start at the start and we count to find the 15th number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the 15th number is the 0, the 16th number is the 1, the 15.5 is going to be in the middle of 14.0 and 14.1. So in the middle of 14.0 and 14.1, well, that's going to be 14.05 centimeters. And last, we were asked for the range. The range is the biggest minus the smallest. So that's 17.9 minus 11.7, which is 6.2 centimeters. We can also compare two sets of data in a back-to-back stem plot. And what that looks like is we've got a stem down the middle, and then we're going to have the leaf out the side. So I'm going to do 1A on the left hand side and 1B on the right hand side. Now again, with these, what we'll need is a key on each side, and we also want them to be in ascending order from the stem out. So we'll do 1B first of all. Now looking at through the data, we can see that the smallest number is going to be 140 something. The smallest value is actually 139. So whenever we're drawing this table, make sure you put in a 13 in here. So the stem's going to start with a 14, and then we're going to have a 15, a 16, a 17, and let's put an 18 in there as well, because the largest value looks to be 180. So the stem value is the first two digits of the number, and then the leaf is going to be the units. So again, same as before, we go through the data and mark it off one by one. So the first one is 156. It's going to go there. Then 158, 164, 171, 149, 167, 163, 147, 160, 161, 171, 172, 181, 175, and 167. And we need to rewrite this in order. So we've now got it in ascending order from the stem out. And the key, so it's going to be 14/7, and that means 147. So going through the values in 1A, so we start off with 145, so we're going to put that to the left of 14, and then 148, and then 151, 156, 152, 143, 155, 139, 162, 159, 161, 160, 153, 156, and 142. What we need to do is now order the data from the stem out. So we've now the data ordered. So now what we need to do is put our key. So what we can do is, if we look at the first term, we've got 9/13, and we'd normally think that means 913, but actually in this side it's the reverse of that. So 9/13, that means 139. Now just one final point about our key. If we had a stem and leaf diagram and the first value was a 1 and the second value was a 1, we couldn't use a key of 1/1 to mean 11. Because if we were to assume that, then the next term of 2/4, does that term, is that meaning 24 or 42? Because it's an ambiguous key, we don't like that, because we could read the key forwards as if it was a normal stem plot, but we could also read it in reverse. So whenever you're choosing a key, make sure the terms that you have are different and unambiguous, so that they can only be read one way. So if the 2/4 meant 24, use that as a key and write 2/4 is 24. And then that way it's obvious that we're reading the key from left to right.